It is I, Underwood, your tour guide to the world of darkness, and today, Hercules One, I shall be addressing your question as to those most malign entities of the shadows and sewers of the old country, the Giovanni. These individuals are both of flesh and blood and breath, as they are of cold, lifeless flesh and vitae. They have families of mortals, and those same mortals practice necromancy. And they are Italian, but there are still others that you would not think of, clans and families of old stock from other countries and other lineages that have been brought under the umbrella of the Giovanni. Now, they don't need to appear as ghoulish entities. This is where people make the mistake of the Giovanni. They're not ghouls that sit there and stare into the eyes of skulls and whisper secrets to them. They look like clean-cut businessmen in two-piece or three-piece suits walking the Strip in Las Vegas. They are often heavily connected to all sorts of enterprises, particularly those more unsavory Italian enterprises. They are a very old family from Venice, and many of them are named, many of their women are named Giovanni before they marry and retain the name Giovanni, if you understand what I'm saying. Their family tree does not have nearly as many branches as it should have, and this can tend to lead to the heightening of certain traits and the diminishing of others. There are a large number of inbreds amongst their ghoulish kind. They challenge even the hideously freakish, deformed Nosferatu under the city streets in many places in America and in Europe and in other places in the world for strange energies, odd places beneath the earth, places where there will not be as many eyes upon them. And even the Nosferatu are afraid of the things that happen in the dead of night when the Giovanni skulk about, finding bodies and prying secrets, because the dead cannot lie to the masters of necromancy, a most foul black art that allows them to peer into the eyes, into the essence and soul of a man that is no longer alive, and to witness what he has witnessed, to gain the knowledge he has gained, and to take even his very soul that is fleeing his body and under a cowl in the Shadowlands, to take it and to bind it to a candelabra, to a paperweight, to a quill, or whatever other device they decide, to forever enslave that entity if that is their wish and want. And they need not even have the body of the man, for they can peer into the old restless dead, the wraiths of the other world, and make them do their bidding, enslave them. How would you like to be dead, and then become a slave for centuries on end to cold-hearted, evil, vampiric masters? That is the fate that some do suffer at the hands of the Giovanni. That is the mercilessness of the Giovanni. That is what you need to know at the core of them. They are rich, they are wealthy, they are powerful, and they will do whatever they want. They have no need for the Camarilla. They have no need for the Sabbat, for that they have is the thickest of blood. They need not be related to their sire by the ties of blood, the only ties that make one vampire father and one vampire son, for that vampire may be their great-grandfather. So those ties of blood are there double-fold. That is a kind of strength and unity and loyalty that only a true family can have. That is something that even the Tremere have. There need not be threats of blood bonds hanging over a Giovanni's brow, because there is that familial loyalty, and that is what necessitates the clan Giovanni being so insidiously dangerous. They do not turn against each other. Augustus Giovanni drank the soul of one of the most powerful and ancient vampires, Cappadocius Ashur. He drank his soul not even 1,000 years ago. To think about that in terms of sheer strength and power, and what necromancy can do for one, and how powerful that can make an individual. That is the strength of this strange sorcery that others need not be able to prepare well for. For you are a Toreador who insults a Giovanni. You may well have a wraith slide in the shadows behind you back to your haven and undo a lock, and undo a shutter, and undo a window, and you will burn in the righteous eyes of God, reflecting down as the sun scorches your flesh from your bones. And there are some vampires that know just enough to realize how horribly dangerous the Giovanni are. And they have turned their backs on them and pushed them out, past that polite society of the Camarilla. Pushed them into the shadows. A clan not fit for common counsel. A clan not fit to be around other undead. Do you know how disquieting and disturbing you must be to not be fit to be a Camarilla? Think about that. The Camarilla thought about that hard, and they thought, yes, the Giovanni are not fit to be amongst us. They are perhaps the most reviled of clans. Think about that. Think about how cold-blooded and how calculating and how vicious and wrathful and hateful and dark a soul must be to be in that position, beyond even those who have turned against the Camarilla. For those others, if it were not for direct actions against Camarilla members, perhaps there would be welcome arms to Giovanni and La Sombra. But it is the very nature of the Giovanni that repulses. It is the fact that they talk to dead people, and dead people do what they're told. And that is power near immeasurable in vampiric terms. Think about that the next time you feel a cold chill near you, and you will remember you should not have disrespected that Giovanni. But at that point, it will be far, far too late, and his wrath will be sated, and you will be gray ash on the floor.